With all the rumors swirling about Roberto DeZerbi joining Tottenham Hotspur, I decided to jump into Football Manager and replicate, or to some extent take Roberto De Zerbi's philosophy and test it out with Tottenham Hotspur and see how well they do in the Premier League. The tactic I have on screen here is created by Dan Grear. You should go and check out Dan Grear's Twitter page. He is one of the brightest football brains that I know in Football Manager, and I learned a lot of Football Manager tactic creation from him. It has helped me so much. He goes by views from the touchline, I guess, so you can go on to check his Twitter page, but he created this tactic, and that's the tactic that I'm going to be using with Roberto De Zerbi's Tottenham Hotspur experience somewhat, to see how well they do in the league. So run through the season and see how well we do. By the way, if you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when more Football Manager tactic testing videos do come out here on the channel. And also, if you enjoy Football Manager content, you can subscribe to the channel. Do leave a like on this video as well. It helps support the channel and help the channel grow. Thanks a lot for watching. Let's go and see how well we do. And 12th of November, for some reason, the manager has actually been sacked. So let's see how badly Tottenham went on to do before parting company with Roberto De Zerbi's philosophy in this particular save and sell. Okay, Tottenham Hotspur, looking at the schedule, they were on a straight run of 5 wins, but somehow the board decided to part company with the manager. This is as of November. I'm going to assume it was the 5-1 defeat at Southampton that actually cost the manager his job, but we did have some good victories in here. 5-1 win over Leicester, but then there's a 4-0 defeat at Arsenal, and to some extent I think at this point they should have actually sacked the manager and did not even allow him continue up until this point. So I'm going to run the simulation again, this time not with a balanced mentality but with a positive mentality, to see if Brighton's manager Roberto De Zerbi's philosophy can work at Tottenham using a positive mentality. At about the same time, we still lost the job again, even though we're using a positive mentality this time. And just a sneak peek as to what went wrong in this other save, I don't think it's too different really. Spurs, and then we can find, okay, we did lose to Real Madrid 3-0. This is probably a UEFA Champions League game. We did beat Southampton this time around by 2-1, but that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough at all. We lost to Celtic 4-0. That shouldn't have happened. So at this point, they should have sacked the manager. And then we did lose to Bournemouth by 2-1. We beat Southampton this time by 3-0, and a lot of draws and defeats in there. So that's enough for you to part company with the manager. I do have one ace up my sleeve though. We're going to try this one more time. So this time I've run Roberto De Zerbi's simulation at Tottenham Hotspur using RDF's DeZerbi 4-2-3-1 tactic, and it's actually a 3-variant tactic. There's tactic 1, tactic 2, and tactic 3. So this is the main tactic, the home version tactic, and then you have the high tempo away tactic style of play. And then you have the away team against the big boys. There's a kind of philosophy. You can see there's also a balanced mentality here. A philosophy where we used to play against the elite teams like Liverpool and Manchester City. So looking at RDF's approach to Roberto De Zerbi's tactic, he goes on to include some overpowered player and team instructions for this philosophy that helps it to be all the more effective. So it's probably, hopefully, looking at the results that we got, we're already at the 31st of October, by the way. Looking at the league table so far, Tottenham are currently sitting in second in the Champions League and sitting in second as well in the Premier League. And look who is topping the league, Brentford, with only 2 defeats all season. They lost to Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, and they've beat some of the good teams in there. Liverpool and Manchester City, they've had wins against those teams. We're still in all competitions. I forgot to check in Dan Grear's tactic if we did do well in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but so far so good. Looking at RDX version of the tactic, it supports a more passive managerial approach, but if you're using Dan Grear's tactic, you're going to be a lot more hands-on if you're trying to manage the team, so you can go on to get better results and observe how the game is unfolding and see how you can go about winning games and dominating games using Dan Grear's tactic. But at RDF's tactic, we're going to run through to the end of the season to see just how far the tactic can actually take Spurs, and a brief intro into what the tactic is like. By the way, I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can download all 3 tactics for yourself and then see how they work. But RDS opts for wing backs on attack duty and ball playing defenders on defend. Hugo Lloris is playing as a standard goalkeeper as opposed to the sweeper keeper on support. There's a segundo volante in the deep line playmaker on the central midfield, or central defensive midfield on the right. There's a shadow striker in Harry Kane for some reason. Kulusevski is playing as a deep line forward on support duty. Pedro Porro and Son Heung-min is playing as the inverted winger here on attack. And then you can see the passing directness is still shorter. I think Dan Grear used a much shorter passing tempo, but RDS opts for just the shorter passing, playing out of defense and then fairly wide width. There's a counter and regroup, so that's okay. Dan Grear did not include any instructions for this one, but RDF goes on to include the regroup instruction for DeZerbi's tactic, and then the team doesn't always rush to try and press and win the ball back, so there's a lot of recovery in there, and that's good. I kind of like that part of Football Manager as well. High press is also in there, much more often trigger press with a standard defensive line That's kind of how the tactic is set up by RDF. So we're going to see how the tactic runs to the end of the season and see how well Tottenham do if they eventually go on to win the league or something. So we're near the end of the season now, and Tottenham are currently sitting in 3rd place. Brentford, I'm so sorry, they did fall out, and the big boys actually found their way back. So that's Man City and Liverpool, and then Manchester United are right behind us. So 1 game more, and I think we're settled finishing in the top 4 now. I don't think it's possible for Arsenal to get in here, although they're doing well in real life. We lost our last 2 games. We did lose to Arsenal and then to Liverpool. It's probably why we've dropped all the way to 3rd place right now. But looking at how the team is set to end the season, and then we can see, looking from our teams, that we did get knocked out by Arsenal again in the semi-final of the Europa League. What the hell is Arsenal up to? They did get knocked out by Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup and by Chelsea in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. And looking at the team stats altogether, City have the highest amount of goals with 81. Spurs are in there with 77, and then most points per game, 1.86 for Tottenham Hotspur. They did do well, they are doing well, and I do expect them to do well when Roberto DeZerbi takes over. Looking at the average possession, we have Spurs in 5th place with 54% possession, Arsenal and Chelsea and City. For some reason, Palace are in 4th place for possession. Wow, that's scary. But Tottenham did well all together with this tactic, and I think with the 2nd season simulation, I think DeZerbi is going to do quite well. There's a lot of injuries and suspensions in here. Too much red, let me just clear it. Saves my eyes. I do hope DeZerbi goes on to take Tottenham to higher ranks, higher places. They need to go places. Tottenham are a good team and they need to go on to win trophies. For some reason, they need to win a trophy. So in order for this to work, I feel they're going to need a decent number 10 to try and operate in this hole here, as DeZerbi likes to play. Possession style of playing the number 10 is quite crucial. Harry Kane can play that role as well, but that's going to mean they're going to get another forward. But depending on DeZerbi, he can go on to spin off anything when he goes to Spurs. If he eventually goes to Spurs, he can go on to create a new system for us to see and for us to enjoy on Football Manager. So do you think Spurs should go with DeZerbi in the next season, or in this season? Do you think DeZerbi should be their next manager? And if no, why do you think so? And if yes, what changes do you think Tottenham should make to Aaron in order to accommodate DeZerbi coming into the club? Thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you with more Football Manager tactic testing videos like this. Remember to leave a like for this video if you did enjoy it, and also subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when more videos do come out here on the channel. Remember to leave a like for the video, it does help the channel. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. I should really work on my endings, shouldn't I?